An energetic cat bath. What the heck is that? Well, we're going to start by getting more specifically in tune with and in touch with what our energy feels like. So you're going to bring your hands together and you're going to rub them really, really fast, really vigorously. Make lots of friction. Rub, 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 rub. Yay, kitties. Rub, rub, rub. So keep rubbing. Keep rubbing. Building a little heat in there. You can probably start to feel the heat. Maybe a little tingling, maybe it's getting a little sensitive. Okay, now stop. Ooh, lots of tingles. And have your hands maybe, I don't know what this is, 5-6 inches apart. And pulse a little bit. Pulse your hands a little toward one another and then a little bit away. And then maybe those movements even get a little bigger. You go a little closer and you start to pull a little further apart. And see if you can notice, maybe so subtly, this kind of strange sensation between the hands, not the tingling or the sensitivity that's in the hands themselves, but the thing between your hands. Almost like there's invisible taffy between your hands, and you can kind of smoosh it together, and then you can kind of pull it apart. So play with that for another few moments here. You might even see like, oh, how far apart can I get my hands and still feel like I'm connected to that taffy in each hand. The taffy that connects from the right to the left. You might come back together really close and then pull apart again. You might even sort of see if you can turn it so it's hand over hand, so that the taffy, the energy taffy, is now vertical. And what you're feeling, and if you're not feeling anything, it's totally fine. Totally fine. Just imagine that you can feel something. But what you're feeling, if you're feeling like, well, am I? Maybe. Even that, what you're feeling is energy. We're just going to call it flat out energy because I'm not a physicist. But let's just call it energy. And we know from physics, from science, we know that we have an energy field. There's an energy field that comes off of your body to a certain distance. And what you're going to do now is take these very tuned in, sensitive hands, even if it's just an imaginary thing, and you're going to orient your hands more towards your own body in all the places and see if you can give yourself a little bit of an energy bath. So you might start in the face or the head and just see, like, is there a distance away from my own body that with my hands I can kind of feel that energetic boundary? And what if I smoothed it out a little bit, the cat bath where they lovingly, so lovingly, Magic was giving himself a bath yesterday in a little sunspot. So lovingly just sort of cover the whole body. And as you do this, there might be areas where you're like, I think I feel it, and then other areas where you're like, I don't know, this is silly, I don't feel anything. That's okay. What you're sensing for is what you're sensing for, oh good, Susan, you got in, is any area where this energy body feels um, like it's really rough or prickly, and go down your whole body. So if you do your arms, then you can kind of feel down your torso. And you can be going much slower than I'm going. You can be like, where do I feel that? Where's my boundary? Where does it feel really clear and solid? Where does it feel like there's a hole that I kind of need to repair? And then you can just go down your legs. You can do one leg and then the other. You could just sort of do yourself as like a gingerbread person. So this is something that I try to do every morning with fresh herbs, actually. I do it every day. And it just so happens that when I take the dog out where she does her business in the mornings, it's right by the herb boxes. And so we had some very overgrown parsley. And so I would look at the parsley and try to imagine which piece wanted to be my assistant that day and pick off a piece of parsley. And then I would just do it with the parsley. So, that's like full throttle woo. So take it in stages if this is new for you. But just like we need baths, we need to cleanse our bodies. Our energetic bodies are no different. No different. So good, especially right now with all of these invisible E-waves, right? Like here we are connected through the E-waves. Your energy is also invisible, but both things are real, and it's not hard to imagine that these invisible realms affect each other. So we are extra in the E-waves right now, and that might mean that our energetic body is extra impacted or feels that. So, just get your back as best you can. It's really good to do your hands and feet. So, just kind of feeling around, and if there's anything you want to slough off or repair. So if you're not done, don't be done. Or if you're enjoying this, or if you're just curious, like, can I feel something? Oh, this is so weird. Great. Stay with it. Keep going. Keep exploring. And the more you do it, it's like a muscle. You'll get better at it. You'll get more sensitive, like, oh, I think that's it. And I'm feeling it more regularly, especially if this is new. You might not have felt anything. It might all be in your imagination, which is also wonderful because the brain doesn't know very well the difference between what is imagined and what is actually tangible right in front of you. So after that little bit of a bath, we'll have some quiet time. And you might want to roll your shoulders around or move a little bit or bring in any of the prior practices that we have used. They are all such great tools, all always available. I'm going to set the timer. So take a moment to make yourself comfortable, and it might be right where you are, or it might be somewhere else. You might want to adjust. You might want to change your position. I find that moving around even just a little bit helps me remember that this isn't a statuesque practice. This isn't a static practice. We are living, breathing, pulsing beings. So those little bit of movements might help you settle, soften, might help offer the breath to all the parts of your body, not just belly, not just chest or wherever it is that you feel your breath, but letting the breathing be a full body experience. Letting yourself rest back a little bit. Rest more into your seat, rest more into the back of your body. And if there's a sense of heaviness or that allows you to round your spine and lump a little bit rather than um, the more sort of anxiety inducing leaning forward, then you can connect with the stem of your apple and come right up through your apple core, that middle place. But know that too, sometimes, especially right now, it's okay to just lean back, to rest back. Even if that makes you just a little bit rounder or a little bit shorter, you know what? Right now, let that be okay. Let that be a safe, soft place for you to rest. With your energetic body a little bit more enlivened this morning, even if you didn't feel so much, the energetic body absolutely feels touched, feels tended to. So you might even just scan, especially if the mind is really busy. Let yourself scan that boundary around you, and you can start pretty close in, just a few inches off of your body. Or it might be a little wider for you. And sometimes the energetic boundary does translate as a sensation in the physical body. Maybe something on the skin, or like a presence or a pressure, very subtle pressure. And if you have something, an area that's really curious, like my shoulder is just having this funny sense around my shoulder, you might try giving it that little bit of bath or touch in an energetic sense. So giving it a little wash with your hand, a little pet, right? A smoothness or a soothing. And sometimes there are things that really feel like they're embedded like a weed, and the roots kind of grow around the energetic body. And for those things, you can just pull them out like you would a weed. If there's an area that's like, I just feel like there is something here, grab a little piece of that, even imaginary energy, and pull it away. Just pull it off of you. So that's sort of like 1.5, that you are wise and attuned, and with practice, you will become more in touch with your own energetic self. All of these practices, all of these yoga practices aim toward knowing ourselves more deeply. And by attending to yourself, even in this sort of brief way each day, you are giving yourself the biggest gift of steadiness and grounding and love and care and self-knowing. It's such a blessing to you and to all of the people you know. Let yourself start to move a little bit, maybe stretch. You can always stay in this space of sitting in this quiet that you have created, in this place of sensitivity and attention that you've created. You can always stay here after we end. I'm curious how the energetic cat bath went, if you felt anything, if you've done that before today or in the future, if you keep trying it and you're like, oh my gosh, I think I felt something today. I'd love to hear. Yeah. Sometimes just even, it's something we don't understand. And if I'm even just jaw tension, I might just be like, oh, feeling this jaw tension. So it could be like we did the day we did the lymphatic. You can actually get in and affect the tissue. Or you could try, like, I don't know, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just something around me. And it's not even my energy. So I can sweep it away. You're welcome. You're welcome. So let me know any thoughts. I always love to hear, and love to hear how you're doing. Take such good care today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, friends.